YouTube here in just a little bit. It has been quite the interesting day as we transition from October into November, and tonight we're going to be seeing more of that moisture out there in the form of fog. We have a special update of all the playoff games tonight coming up on News 12 at 11, so stay tuned for more with Friday Night Football Overtime. That'll be up in just about a little over an hour, so definitely want to stay tuned for more if you're keeping track of the Friday Night Lights situation. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onig. This is Weather Overtime for Friday night, the 1st of November. We've made it to another month, and we're going to see some very un-November-like temperatures in the next few days. Not cold, not even close to that, but we'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Take a look at the almanac page for today. We have tripled the amount of moisture we picked up in October. We finished up October with 0.15 of an inch. That's a very small amount of rainfall, one of the drier Octobers on record for this area of the country. In 6 hours this morning, we picked up 3 times the amount we got in October, basically. So we're now doing pretty well. We're actually ahead for the month by about 1/3 of an inch plus. So we are at least picking up some much needed rainfall there. So some definite good news. So we'll change that from a red to a blue. We are still behind for the year. That helped, but not enough to lower our deficit. We are still behind by over almost 10 inches. Drop below 10 inches again with this amount of rainfall, but we could definitely use some more. We were closer to regular high temperatures, which this time of the year is about 68. It's a lot more comfortable around here at this time of the year than it usually is after coming down off that summer heat wave binge we've been on. And temperatures, again, quite pleasant back into the lower 70s, but our low temperature was closer to the regular high temperature. We are 20 degrees above where we should be on the temperature for this time of the year. So very much above normal. It's a little worrisome to say the least. Catching a rainbow on the dashboard thanks to the dew on the windshield of News 12 contributor Chris Dean from Rome. Thank you very much for our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. If you'd like to see these pictures and if you'd like to contribute your own, you don't have to go too far. All you have to do is go to our website, wdef.com/photos. You can drop them to our social media pages. You can also email them to us at pictures@wdef.com. If you got weather pictures out there, send them in to us. We'd love to see what you're seeing. We'd love to be able to feature them, but we can't do that unless you actually show them to us. Thanks also to News 12 contributor Mr. Pudgy and his owners from Charleston, a micro bully. I don't think I've ever heard of that particular breed, but reminds me of the dog on the Little Rascals from a long time ago. Kind of looks like the dog with the black patch over his eye there. If you've got pictures for the Rough Cuts Dog Grooming of Cleveland Dog Walking Forecast, send those in to us. You can go to our website again, wdef.com/dogwalk for more. Cool in the morning. A jacket would not be such a bad idea, so keep that advised into tomorrow. Your pupper probably shouldn't need any help with that, but go ahead and keep that jacket around for yourself. Temperatures nearing 10 o'clock. We are back in the 60s and 50s. Kind of a cool finish for Friday Night Football. We also have, again, some decent amounts of fog that are starting to form out there. We don't have a lot of visibility problems. We do have, again, some very nice temperatures overall across much of the southeastern United States. So fairly nice for right now, and much colder. You can see that well back on up to our north with temperatures back in the lower 40s north of Louisville and the Ohio River, picking up some pretty chilly numbers there. Got that fog going on and lower cloud deck out across the area. You could barely even see Lookout Mountain off in the distance from the Bailey's Heating and Air camera. All these cameras available on the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network. Again, that fog, you can kind of see the calmness of the atmosphere with the exhaust vents going out and doing a good job of showing again some of that drift taking place, but really not that much going on. Lookout Mountain, hardly able to see the top of it. thanks in part to the fact that we have little, if anything, showing up in the way of very dry air. That moisture left over from this morning is going to be causing us some concern with fog overnight, so I would not be surprised if we saw something in the way of a dense fog advisory from the National Weather Service. That could be a potential problem for travelers on Saturday morning, so you might want to allow a little bit of extra time there to get to where you're going, just in case. And we're continuing to see some of these low-hanging clouds across much of the area for tonight. Fractured, not totally overcast, but we do have, again, some fairly good amounts of fog forming out there. Looking from the North Shore across the Tennessee River on the Speedy's Total Car Care camera, at least I hope we have it here. I don't know why we're getting the hiccup. There we go. Police down at Coolidge Park. Not too sure what's going on. Hopefully nothing serious. Again, some folks on the footbridge. A lot of folks out at Coolidge Park early tonight, and that fog settling in to the Tennessee River Valley. I want to take a look at the traffic at 2475, where we did have a semi that ran into a car earlier, and that was causing some backups as 75 north curves under 24 east to go north to Knoxville on that 75 run. So we do have, again, some low clouds. You can see some of that fog off there. You can't see much of the lights of Signal Mountain off in the distance. Should be expecting, again, temperatures back in the lower 60s for tonight. Current temperatures, I know I had that graphic around here someplace. It is 65 right now, so we'll be dropping a little bit on the temperatures, but not by much. And again, very much on the humid side. Cool temperatures, high humidity, light winds. That's a very good recipe for fog, and that's exactly what we're going to be looking at later on tonight. Big picture does show, again, our lightest cold front sliding south of the area, and all the moisture along it is pretty much gone in the form of heavy rain or rainfall. This front usually, and yesterday we saw the big temperature difference back to the north and to the west of us, and that is now no longer the case. Instead of that very sharp difference between the cold on one side and the warm on the other, the temperatures have now kind of flatlined a little bit, so it's very much on the calm side. There's really not much going on. There's not much of a difference between the two fronts. What's left of a couple of systems moving over the high plains and the Rockies? This one, a couple of these falling apart, so there's not much left here. Our next storm system is all the way out into portions of the Pacific Northwest. This one might be giving us the potential of some more showers next week. So for Saturday morning, not too bad. Temperatures high 50s to lower 60s. Again, we should be much colder than that for this time of the year. Mid to upper 70s to lower 80s if we get enough sunshine tomorrow afternoon for Saturday. Lower 60s to high 50s for Sunday morning. For Sunday afternoon, mid to upper 70s possible across portions of the area. And then Monday morning, back into the 50s and 60s, with temperatures not doing too bad for the afternoon. Will be pretty mild all the way through the afternoon hours. The computer models are keeping us a lot cooler here. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we're going to be very warm as we get into the areas coming up Monday afternoon, so something to think about for outdoor activities there. Want to check the tropics real quick. There is not much going on in the Atlantic. There is some, yes, but just not that much going on at this time. From the Hurricane Center, we did have earlier on, let's see if this is increased. Okay, this one up here, this system is now up to a 50%. Some development in the next day or two, and it could be a tropical or a subtropical storm moving east-southeast. This could be a problem for the Azores, and then off the area of the Iberian Peninsula could be a problem there, and could be some choppy conditions on the high seas, according to the National Hurricane Center. Now, we do have into the central and northern parts of the Caribbean and into the Bahamas a very low 10% possibility of something developing here. Then we take a look farther. Oh, that has definitely improved. They're going to take a second here to get that taken care of. What we're looking at for right now, is that 2 or 3? That is 2. So we do have, it looks like, a higher potential going on of maybe a development taking place here. This is now up to 80% possibility of development in the next 2 to 7 days. So this is now looking to be the potential of something more developing here out of this. And this is something that if you're planning on traveling to the Gulf, we now have 1 month left until the end of hurricane season. So for right now, it is possible that we may get something out of this, and right now tending toward likely that we may get something here. This and this could combine into one system. Unlikely, but possible. So this definitely, again, needs to get us to where we may see some more active weather coming up within the tropics. So again, 3 systems in play, 1 over the North Atlantic, 2 over portions of the Caribbean and the Bahamas. So this right here, again, anything between the Keys and Brownsville, you want to watch what's going on there, especially if you're doing any ocean cruises anytime soon. So that could be a bit of a situation. We'll keep our eyes on that and keep you updated for what may be occurring there. Currently, for tonight, a lot of clouds, sky shine from Chattanooga, looking back to the west on Island Cove Marina and Resort. Daylight saving time comes to an end Saturday night into Sunday. Why we're still doing it, I don't know. John Oliver and Last Week Tonight doing their How Is This Still a Thing segment. Something to take a look at there, because you'd figure by now, at the very least, we may not be able to fix a lot of stuff with legislation, but we should be able to legislate this out of existence. It doesn't do anyone any good. And as Last Week Tonight put it, yes, you lost an hour of sleep tonight thanks to Kaiser Wilhelm. So there's no rhyme or reason to it whatsoever. Election Day, we'll talk about that in a minute. Temperatures remain very stable until the end of the week, where this next system wanders through and gives us the chance of a few showers and thunderstorms. Emphasis on the showers, not quite so much on the thunderstorms there. So it is possible to get some rumbles of thunder, but the Storm Prediction Center is showing no threat of any severe weather for us in this area of the country looking ahead to the next 6 to 8 days. So good news on that for now. That is something that we will be completely and totally monitoring, so keep it tuned to News 12 for more on that. Now, for Election Day, this is where, again, we see the potential of some rainfall coming up. It does not look to be, again, the potential for a major problem. Breezy, cloudy, mild into the next several days, and then we see, again, the potential for some showers coming up as we go toward the end of the voting day. I'm going to be out at my precinct voting, and if there's a line, if necessary, I will do weather live from the polling place line before it all closes so that we can give you an idea as to what's going on. But the showers out there should not be a problem for anybody. Do not let the weather be an excuse. Get out and cast your vote as we go into next week. Be a good citizen. People have fought and died for the rights for us to be able to choose our leaders, and it's a terrible waste. And as it said, John Fugelsang, I hope I'm saying that right, very wisely posted a few years ago, when you skip voting or use voting as protest and don't vote, it's not protest, it's surrender. So go out and vote. Let's go ahead and get this over with. Again, we're getting into the next portion of the year to where we move forward out of this election season about time. But let's go ahead and finish strong. Let's get the voting numbers up. Get out and cast your ballot. Yes, I'm talking a lot about this because it is so important and because I have the freedom of speech to do so that we are able to tell you things like this. You have the freedom to turn off this weathercast and to say, I don't want to watch this anymore. Again, freedoms that people have fought and died for. That's what voting is a very good example of, why we need to be a very big participant in our own democracy. Democracy is not a spectator sport. Vote. Get out there and get it done. Next Tuesday is the day for that. Couple of things coming up, one this weekend and one next weekend. I want to remind this about everybody. This had to be postponed back in September, back around when Hurricane Helene roared on shore and caused all that problems for the Carolinas and over the east coast of the United States. The National Weather Service in Morristown, covering parts of East Tennessee, the Virginias, and the Carolinas, they had to stay and watch and keep an eye on what was going on. So this open house that is rare for the National Weather Service to hold these things had to be postponed. It has now been rescheduled, and the time for the open house is tomorrow, 10 a.m., 2 p.m., or if you're watching this on Saturday, today at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's a great opportunity to find out more about what NOAA does. Visit the National Weather Service in Morristown, which covers, again, part of the News 12 viewing area, which is why we're talking about this. 5974 Commerce Boulevard, Morristown, Tennessee. More information on our website and on their website. If you believe that a certain political project which says we should just go ahead and axe NOAA is a good idea, this is a good opportunity for you to learn more about what NOAA does in person at the National Weather Service office. It's a bit of a trip from where we are in Chattanooga, a couple of hours away, but it's a great way to find out more about what your government does with tax dollars, and not just accepting what a political project says is a good idea to get rid of a government agency just because they supposedly talk about climate change too much. Well, climate change is partly what they do, studying the ocean and the atmosphere, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Getting rid of NOAA means getting rid of the National Weather Service and replacing it, according to what the project says, with a private agency. Name me one private weather forecasting firm that does as much as NOAA does and does it as well, and I will be glad to examine your statement. But until then, that whole backwards-ass project going on from political purposes, you really need to rethink that on Tuesday at the ballot box, what you're voting for, because right now getting rid of NOAA would be a capital mistake, and until I am not able to do so anymore, I will make certain that I speak out against this. My right as an American citizen, that's not anything in the way of bias. That's taking a look at hamstringing ourselves by getting rid of a government agency that does so much for us. Again, it's a very backwards idea to cancel it. I don't like it. It's a very stupid idea. I have the right to be able to say so, and I have the right to be able to advise you about dangers when it comes to severe weather, but also dangers from political circles that don't think these things through. That is, again, a capital mistake to get rid of something like this. So head to the National Weather Service this weekend, find out more, and a great opportunity to learn more about what NOAA does direct from the source, local National Weather Service office there. Now, coming up in about a week from tomorrow, or a week from today, if you're watching this on Saturday, Barnard Astronomical Society, the great science of astronomy, the pseudoscience of astrology, and yes, it is completely and totally bupkis, ridiculously does not work, never had, never will. My monitor here exerts more gravitational force over me than the planet Jupiter does 750 million miles away, or the planet Mercury. Either way, again, the planets don't determine our fate. This is something to really look forward to, because these guys and gals teach you all about astronomy, the scopes, the binoculars, the monitors for watching what goes on in the sky. I believe the moon at that point will be somewhere near first quarter, so you might be able to see the moon through there. This will be at Harrison Bay State Park, Saturday the 9th. And if you'd like to show up, 5 to 10 p.m., that'll be Eastern Standard Time. So remember, we've got the time change coming up here. Great opportunity to find out more. Harrison Bay State Park at the Rec Hall parking lot area. Again, this is totally free. Don't need to pay anything, even for parking. Just show up and enjoy yourself. Again, that is coming up next weekend, not this weekend. That's the open house at the National Weather Service. So your opportunity to show up and find out a little bit more about what's going on. What is scarier than the scariest Halloween costume, or the bill that you get after a night of pizza and root beer? The idea that people are willingly troll farms, people with nothing better to do, bullies, and complete and total backwards idiots. This is something that is passed along. Rumors started by, Rumors started by haters, carried along by fools. NOAA has taken a very proactive step. Again, one more thing that NOAA does very well, taking a look at debunking absolute lies and rumors about what NOAA and the National Weather Service and the federal government is supposedly doing with our tax dollars. The claim here, this is all part of the same page that you can take a look at. The claim that NOAA is involved with projects like HAARP, HAARP, and a great opportunity to learn more about this is again available at this website, and SCOPEX. HAARP is a small National Science Foundation funded facility in Gakona, Alaska that conducts research on the ionosphere, 30 to 600 miles above the Earth's surface. HAARP is the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. It is not capable of this is direct from NOAA. I'm reading this off screen here. It is not capable of influencing local weather at the surface, let alone a tropical cyclone, a hurricane thousands of miles away. It just doesn't happen. And for those of you who say that it does, I'll await your proof whenever you'd like to bring it to me, but there is no proof whatsoever that HAARP is able to alter the Earth's atmosphere, including steering hurricanes and large storm systems. Proof first. Again, as Carl Sagan said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof. So again, I would love to know more about that. SCOPEX is run out of Harvard University, a scientific research project to study the behavior of small amounts of aerosols in the stratosphere to advance the understanding of solar geoengineering. The proposed scientific research project ended this year, March of 2024, before field experiments were conducted. NOAA is not associated with either of these facilities, projects, or universities that run these systems. So, again, if you'd like to know more, website readily available. Go to the news section of NOAA and find out a lot more about what is happening in and around that area. So again, a good opportunity to practice good information from weather and not knee-jerk passing along a lot of absolute bourgeois. So something really to think about there. Our friend in roofing.com weather poll of the day. The modern term hurricane, that word comes from the Taino word hurricane. But what part of the world does that come from? The Aleutian Islands, the Baltic, the Caribbean, or Djibouti? 76% of you voted for the Caribbean, and that is absolutely correct. Known for, again, I believe the god of winds. Into and around the Caribbean, parts of Central America, and back into Mexico. That's our friend in roofing.com weather poll of the day. If you would like to vote in our polls, we'll have more going up at midnight. So find out more at wdef.com/vote now, or use the QR code to get there. And again, thanks to everybody for voting in our friend in roofing.com weather poll of the day. Love it when you stop by and take a look at what is going on. Think that's going to do it. Let me just double check that nobody else has checked in here for tonight. Nobody, well, it is a Friday night, so not entirely surprising on that. But for tonight, I think we're good to go, and going to go ahead and turn things back to your regularly scheduled programming, because as of right now, it is decently quiet and will continue that way again through much of the rest of the weekend, as we said earlier. So not looking at a huge amount of change coming up for the weekend, so some definite good news on that. If you'd like more information about what's going on here at News 12, all you have to do is go to our website, wdef.com/weather, at the bottom of your screen. Again, email address at the lower right. That, again, AONEK at wdef.com. And I'm on all these social media pages, so check me out, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Counter Social, Mastodon, Tumblr, Instagram, chess.com and lichess.org, and Discord if you'd like to check out more about where I am there. So always great to hear from you. Questions, concerns, complaints, whatever it is, let us know. Complaints, if you absolutely must, on that. I'll have more coming up on the foreshortened edition of News 12 at 11 tonight. Again, going into Friday Night Football Sports Overtime with Rick and Brian, so stick around for a bunch of sports information tonight. I'll have more on the website throughout the weekend. I'll have more next week, Monday. Chip Chapman will be back with you on Monday morning, starting bright and early at 5 a.m. Here's hoping everybody everybody has a happy and safe weekend. Again, please remember, as Sergeant Esterhaus used to say, let's be careful out there. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onig. This has been Weather Overtime for Friday night. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again coming up on Monday.